A Spanish living legend called time on his sporting career yesterday. Pau Gasol is retiring from basketball and ending a chapter in his life that's lasted more than 2 decades and earned him 2 NBA titles as well as a World Championship gold with Spain's national team. Joining us now to look back on his glorious time on and off the court is Ernest Machia, a sports commentator from Catalonia Radio. Well, thanks for joining us here on the programme. How would you describe the impact that Pau Gasol had during his time in the NBA?
Well, I think he's been one of the best players in history as far as basketball is concerned. But I think that his influence goes beyond, because he was not just a basketball player. As we saw yesterday in Barcelona, where he made his retirement public, he has many more fields to be talked about. He's an ambassador for the UNICEF, for FC Barcelona. He has the dream to work on the stage in the NBA with a club. So he's a global figure. He's not just Catalan or Spanish or even European. He's a worldwide, a global legend, and which makes him more than a player.
I know he was the first foreign player to be named a Rookie of the Year. He was also the first foreign player to be named on one of the great all-star teams as well. And, you know, he was great not only just because he played alongside some great Kobe Bryant, the man he described yesterday as his older brother. You know, tell us more about what he brought to the game on court.
Well, he was a very versatile player. So he was relatively exceptional tall, but he had exceptional abilities for such a tall player. He could play sometimes as a point guard, crossing the court, bouncing the ball, and he's smart enough. He was smart enough, intelligent enough to know the game. So he was not just talent, he was not just intuition, he was intelligence. And I think he has a clear mind, crystal clear mind, that he can project outside of the basketball courts. And this is probably the only reason why he's been on top for so long, because it's very difficult to succeed in the NBA, but it's even more difficult to do it for 20 years, and especially in the first 12 years, improving year by year. And yes, he was lucky to play in the Los Angeles Lakers next to Kobe Bryant, which gave him couple of rings.
Final question would be, you know, what's going to be his overriding legacy in the sport and off it?
His legacy for me is that he's shown that European players, so he's showing to the basketball guys that now are starting to play basketball, that succeed in the NBA is not that far away as it was in the 90s or in the 80s. That is possible. That you need, yes, a talent, a natural flair, but also a project, a pattern, a method, and surrounded by the appropriate people. So he showed to the people of the rest of the world that they can succeed in such competitive place like the NBA, where basically American guys can make it, or they have more chances to make it than other players from Europe came. But I think he was one of the first that showed, along with Tony Parker, that succeeding in the NBA is perfectly possible for a European.